State line leaders are being called to support aging Americans for a statewide day of advocacy as federal funding for critical programs is uncertain.
WIFR reporter Bria Walters talks to event leaders in Freeport about the importance of having laws that support older Americans.
Without the Older Americans Act and the support that they give us, we'd be in very much financial difficulties.
Funding for the Older Americans Act is uncertain. It is federally funded through September, but Jeffrey Barnes from the Northwestern Illinois Area Agency on Aging says the current administration's budget could make things turn for the worse.
And by dismantling the administrative agencies that handle this funding and the programs, it could threaten and disrupt the programs and the funding for these programs that so many people rely on.
The Trump administration poses putting the meal portion of the Older Americans Act under the Administration for Children and Families. The rest of the OAA activities would be under the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Golden Meals in Freeport is funded through the OAA, serving 300,000 meals last year. Director Diane Randiker says the program is already facing challenges.
We've had layoffs, we've had reduced hours. We are also thinking about a waiting list if it continues like this, so it's really had a big impact.
More than 478,000 aging adults in Illinois rely on the Older American Act services.
How many meals will be lost every month across the state? How many rides will not be provided? How many people will go without caregiver services?
Randiker says losing these critical services could cause people to be depressed and lose their dignity.
A lot of them would have to go to nursing homes, special help in their homes. We feel that the meal, the better nutrition, adds to better health.
In Freeport, Bria Walters, WIFR News.
Barnes says reaching out to lawmakers about funding the act is as easy as an email or a cell phone call.
On the Northwestern Illinois Area Agency on Aging's website, you can find a list of state line leaders to contact.